Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A wild and uninhabited area left in its natural condition. It was a wilderness preserved for the hawks and mountaineers. A bewildering profusion. The duties of citizenship are lost sight of in the wilderness of interests of individuals and groups. A wooded region in northeastern Virginia near Spotsylvania where bloody but inconclusive battles were fought in the American Civil War. Politics, a state of disfavor. He led the Democratic Party back from the wilderness. In an uncontrolled and rampant manner. Without civilizing influences. Wild tribes. A wild primitive state untouched by civilization. He lived in the wild. Without a basis in reason or fact. In a natural state, not tamed or domesticated or cultivated. Wild geese. Fanciful and unrealistic, foolish. A wild and uninhabited area left in its natural condition. It was a wilderness preserved for the hawks and mountaineers. Talking or behaving irrationally. Involving risk or danger. A wild financial scheme. Located in a dismal or remote area, desolate. A godforsaken wilderness crossroads. Of the elements, as if showing violent anger. Intensely enthusiastic about or preoccupied with. Of colors or sounds, intensely vivid or loud. Wild colors. Deviating widely from an intended course. A wild bullet. In a state of extreme emotion. Wild with anger. Marked by extreme lack of restraint or control. Wild talk. In a wild or undomesticated manner. Growing wild. A demarcated area of the earth. 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 A goat's horn filled with grain and flowers and fruit symbolizing prosperity. The property of being extremely abundant. The property of being extremely abundant. The property of being extremely abundant. The profusion of detail. The property of producing abundantly and sustaining vigorous and luxuriant growth. He praised the richness of the soil. Splendid or imposing in size or appearance. Impressed by the richness of the flora. Abundant wealth. They studied forerunners of richness or poverty. The property of a sensation that is rich and pleasing. He was well aware of the richness of his own appearance. The property of being extremely abundant. The idiomatic richness of English. A strong, deep vividness of hue. The firelight gave a richness of coloring to that side of the room. The quality of having high intrinsic value. The richness of the mines and pastureland. An inclination to withhold approval from some person or group. The state of being out of favor. Put at a disadvantage, hinder, harm. An inclination to withhold approval from some person or group. The state of being out of favor. He is in disfavor with the king. Put at a disadvantage, hinder, harm. Cause to grow thin or weak. Run off as waste. The water wastes back into the ocean. Spend thoughtlessly. Throw away. He wasted his inheritance on his insincere friends. Become physically weaker. Get rid of someone who may be a threat by killing. Cause extensive destruction or ruin utterly. The enemy lay waste to the countryside after the invasion. Lose vigor, health, or flesh, as through grief. Located in a dismal or remote area, desolate. Waste places. An uninhabited wilderness that is worthless for cultivation. The trackless wastes of the desert. Useless or profitless activity. Using or expending or consuming thoughtlessly or carelessly. If the effort brings no compensating gain, it is a waste. Spend extravagantly. Waste not, want not. Law. Reduction in the value of an estate caused by act or neglect. The trait of wasting resources. A life characterized by thriftlessness and waste. Any materials unused and rejected as worthless or unwanted. They collect the waste once a week. Get rid of. We waste the dirty water by channeling it into the sewer. Use inefficiently or inappropriately. Waste heat. An international boundary or the area, often fortified, immediately inside the boundary. An undeveloped field of study. A topic inviting research and development. He worked at the frontier of brain science. A wilderness at the edge of a settled area of a country. The individualism of the frontier in Andrew Jackson's day. Providing no shelter or sustenance. Barren lands. Completely wanting or lacking. Riding barren of insight. An uninhabited wilderness that is worthless for cultivation. The barrens of Central Africa. Not bearing offspring. A barren woman. An uninhabited wilderness that is worthless for cultivation. 43rd President of the United States, son of George Herbert Walker Bush, born in 1946. Not of the highest quality or sophistication. United States electrical engineer who designed an early analog computer and who led the scientific program of the United States during World War II, 1890 to 1974. Dense vegetation consisting of stunted trees or bushes. Vice President under Reagan and 41st President of the United States, born in 1924. A low woody perennial plant usually having several major stems. Hair growing in the pubic area. A large wilderness area. Provide with a bushing. Social relations involving intrigue to gain authority or power. Office politics is often counterproductive. The opinion you hold with respect to political questions. The study of government of states and other political units. The activities and affairs involved in managing a state or a government. Unemployment dominated the politics of the interwar years. The profession devoted to governing and to political affairs. Social relations involving intrigue to gain authority or power. A state in the eastern United States, one of the original 13 colonies, one of the Confederate states in the American Civil War. A state in the eastern United States, one of the original 13 colonies, one of the Confederate States in the American Civil War. A state in the eastern United States, one of the original 13 colonies, one of the Confederate States in the American Civil War. A state in the eastern United States, one of the original 13 colonies, one of the Confederate States in the American Civil War. A town in northeastern Minnesota in the heart of the Mesabi Range. One of the British colonies that formed the United States. A state in the eastern United States, one of the original 13 colonies, one of the Confederate States in the American Civil War. The United States federal department responsible for the interests of military veterans, created in 1989. Land that is covered with trees and shrubs. Establish a forest on previously unforested land. Afforest the mountains. The trees and other plants in a large densely wooded area. Land that is covered with trees and shrubs. Land that is covered with trees and shrubs. Music. The distinctive property of a complex sound, a voice or noise or musical sound. The wood of trees cut and prepared for use as building material. A beam made of wood. A post made of wood. Land that is covered with trees and shrubs.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.